Yeah, that's right. Some Resistor, Dead Soul, their latest track. I was sent it. I was like, all right, this is a great song to kick off a Monday afternoon, February 16th, 2026. I do love how they try to squeeze as many cuss words as they can into their threats. This type of metal is all about trying to fight someone like, hey, if you dare talk crap, square up type of metal. I like these bands that are trying to follow in Kublai Khan's path. They're trying to see how far they can go by putting out similar music to them. Because, Kublai Khan, they've been around for quite some time. And, well, they are just recently started gaining in popularity. And I believe they're opening up for Lamb of God. Also fit for an autopsy on that bill. Sangui Sugabog also on that bill. That show is going to be in Salt Lake City, March 28th, I believe. I have that on the concert calendar, and I also have that on my list of concerts that I want to attend for the year. I'm kind of iffy on the Bad Omens show happening this weekend. We've had such a beautiful winter. All right, I don't care if people want the snow. Ever since last year when I got in that car accident, when that 16-year-old rear-ended my car, I've been petrified trying to drive in the snow because I don't want to, be the victim of another wreck on the highway. So I've been enjoying the snowless winter we've had. And, well, I also hate it when weather people decide to, they get overly excited about changes in weather. They get overly excited about horrible weather heading our way. It must not be hard to be a weather person. I mean, you put on a suit. That's probably the hardest part, is trying to keep up with that wardrobe. Like, you need to wear your best suit when just repeating numbers to people on the news. Sometimes you even put on a fake accent when telling the weather. I did see this particular weather guy here in the area he posted this in the Life in Idaho Falls Facebook group. He tried riling people up by saying weather changes are coming into the afternoon. We got gusty winds, winter weather advisories, wind advisories kicking in through tomorrow. Tie your yard stuff down, bring the animals in with these 50-plus mile-per-hour gusts overnight. Snow begins while you're asleep at accumulations 4 to 8 inches in the valley. Well, I'm not necessarily looking forward to that. This Sunday, like I mentioned, is going to be Bad Omens, Beartooth, and President at the Delta Center. Do I desperately want to see those three bands? Absolutely. The last time I tried going to see Beartooth in Salt Lake City, we had the worst snowfall that entire year. And that was also in mid to late February. So I'm kind of excited for that show, but I'm also thinking the worst is going to happen and that Malad Pass is going to be impossible. And I'm going to have to miss the best lineup so far this year. I mean, Bad Omens, Beartooth, and President. What a stacked lineup. Make sure to go check out that concert calendar again at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. If you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. Peaches Pit Party. We'll be back here in just a few. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. The legendary Robert Duvall passed away. Saw the post earlier today that his family said, hey, he's gone. He was 95 years old, which is an outstanding life. Outstanding. Born in 1931. He's had one heck of a career, too. Robert Duvall, one of the most legendary actors of all time. He was in Apocalypse Now. I think he was also in the Godfather movies. I mean, if you look at his filmography, if you look at any actor's filmography and you go, oh, yeah, I forgot they were in this, that shows how many movies that person has been in. I mean, he's been in the industry. He was in the industry for about 7 decades. I remember seeing him in Secondhand Lions, one of my favorite films. It's a very sad movie that came out in 2003 with Michael Caine and Haley Joel Osment. Obviously, Apocalypse Now, as I just mentioned. There's a whole bunch of movies from back in the 70s all the way till, recent times. Now, here's the thing. When I saw the announcement that he passed away, I was like, wasn't he Walter Hobbs in Elf? I got him confused with James Caan. And funny enough, if you look up Robert Duvall on Google, it says people also search for James Caan. I forgot Robert Duvall was in Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell. That came out in 2005, that soccer movie. For it being a soccer movie, it's one of the funniest movies. I don't care how you feel about Will Ferrell. I think it's fantastic. You got legends like Robert Duvall and Mike Ditka in that movie. Such a classic. If you haven't seen Kicking and Screaming, do so. I went to school with the small boy on the team in that film. His name's Elliot Cho. His character name was Beyond Sun in that movie. Just a classic. I might need to rewatch that now that the movie's 21 years old. Jeez, so long ago. But yeah, rest in peace to Robert Duvall, a legend. Another legend lost in 2026. Should I talk about my first world problem that I've been, that I just encountered last week? My girlfriend persuaded me to buy a king-sized bed sheet set, a nice king-sized comforter, because it's bigger, and even though I have a queen, it's still acceptable to have king-size sheets and a king-size comforter because it's more to cover you. And, I'm a bigger person, so obviously that's needed, right? Well, I decided to try and wash this king-sized comforter, and my first world problem is that the one time I came home, I think I put it in the washer and then left for a brief bit and came back and had to use the restroom. And when I took one step into the restroom, I darn near did the splits because my left foot, when I planted it onto the bathroom rug, it was so caked with water that it slid on the bathroom floor and my left leg went a little bit forward. Luckily, I caught on to the washer. I'm like, what on earth happened here? My entire floor, just all water. I must have overloaded the washer, and so then I opened the washer, and sure enough, the washer decided to rip apart my comforter. Luckily enough, my girlfriend and her family, especially her mom, they know how to sew, and they know how to fix things like that. So I believe today they're going to try their best to fix it, but I might need to sacrifice my throw pillow because of the extra cloth needed because there's a giant hole in my comforter. And so now it's like if I want to continue to use that comforter, I'll then have to, go to a laundromat. And I'm like, do I really want to pay every single time just to wash a dang comforter? There is a laundromat right by my place, but do I really want to go out of my way to just wash this somewhere else? Again, a dumb first world problem. You know that site that we've talked about a bunch, HireEastIdaho.com. That's HireEastIdaho.com. We're going to keep talking about it because it legitimately works. It connects local people with local companies, and there's always something new on there. Right now, the job of the week is a part-time retail clerk opening at Mimi's Mexican Market in Blackfoot. Pays between $11 and $14 an hour, and it's a solid opportunity if you like working with customers, helping people find what they need, and being part of a busy store. They're looking for someone bilingual in Spanish and English, and they'll train you on everything else. If you or someone you know is looking for part-time work or honestly just wants to see what's out there locally, go check out HireEastIdaho.com. It's free to use, it's updated all the time, and it's specifically focused on jobs right here in East Idaho. It's Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101, heading towards the 3 p.m. hour with your Shot Clock Sports Update at the top of the next. Right now, it's From Ashes to New with Drag Me on K-Bear 101. The upcoming baseball season will see coaches having to stay put on the field. MLB owners approved a rule change mandating that base coaches remain in their designated boxes at all times. The change comes after most coaches have been running up and down the baseline in recent seasons, trying to figure out what pitches are coming and relaying that to hitters. The Minnesota Twins sputtered last season, finishing 22 games below 500 and 18 games out of first place in their division. This season, in hopes of attracting more fans to the stadium, the team is offering cheap beer and free ice cream. One deal involves $2 pregame beers at each home game for season ticket holders and all fans on Friday and Saturday nights. There's also free ice cream for kids on Sundays. If that wasn't enough, the Twins also turbocharged their giveaways throughout the season to include beanies, fishing lures, hats, jerseys, bobbleheads, lunch bags, backpacks, and even Hawaiian shirts. Makes me want to become a Minnesota Twins fan, even though who cares about the Minnesota Twins. The Dallas Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl. Speaking of teams nobody cares about, the Dallas Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. Yet their sustained popularity keeps them as the champs in franchise value. Sportico has released their valuation list for all 154 teams in the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and Major League Soccer. And the Cowboys are on top with a value of close to $13 billion. They're followed by the NBA's Golden State Warriors at 11.3 billion, Los Angeles Rams 10.4 billion, the New York Giants at 10.2, and the LA Lakers at a measly just 10 billion. The least value for a team comes from MLS's CF Montreal, which comes in at $430 million. That's because, well, soccer sucks. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. I think I've talked about this on the air a couple of times. I saw this question pop up. What's the funniest excuse you've heard someone use to leave work early, maybe even not show up at all? Some of the responses include a colleague said he needed to leave because his cat was having an existential crisis and wouldn't stop meowing. Some of those cat owners, man, I tell you, they always use, hey, I need to go feed my cat as an excuse to leave any social gathering, no matter how early or late it is into that event. They always want to use their cats as an excuse to leave. Another response here, not the same as leaving early, but I once told my boss that I couldn't stay late because my cat was lonely and needed to be fed. You see what I mean? First two answers, cat-related. Cat owners. Super annoying. Another answer to what's the funniest excuse you've heard someone use to leave work early? His uncle was trapped in a mine, and he was the only person who could help him. The only person. And his uncle, out of all people. If my uncle called me right now, and I know that sounds entirely made up, his uncle was trapped in a mine. If my uncle called me right now and said, hey, Brenden, I'm trapped in a mine, you're the only person who can help me. It's like, okay, dude, I'm in Idaho, you're in Southern California. How'd you get into a mine, out of all places? Why didn't you call somebody like my sister maybe, who's already there in that area and could potentially help you out? That type of thing. There was that one time I was working at an Asian diner called Payway. Most of their locations are completely out of business. And my former best friend at the time, Bobby, decided he didn't want to show up to work. So what he did is that he just said, hey, boss, I'm getting an appendectomy, meaning you're going to get your appendix removed. And so then he stupidly, after that, posts on social media, on Instagram, where he's followed by the managers of that restaurant, that he's at an Anaheim Ducks meet and greet, and then he's going to the game right after. Instead of working the afternoon shift that was like 4 hours long, he was like, screw that. I'm going to the Ducks game, hockey game, yeah, and posts about it. Almost genius of the day material right there. Anyway, let's do some Rob Zombie, I'm a Rock and Roller on K-Bear 101. If you've listened to my show for quite a long time now, you know that I hate just stupid holidays. I mean, Valentine's Day is one of those days where, every restaurant is going to be packed with couples. And for that reason, Valentine's Day is not necessarily all that fun. I mean, this past Saturday, me and Aubrey sort of celebrated by just, I made burgers at my place and we ate them there. And I think earlier in the day, we went to Perkins with her parents and that was it, right? We also got each other some gifts, and that's about it. I mean, we didn't go all out, put a rose petal trail all the way from the bed to the bathroom. I don't know, something like that. But Valentine's Day, it's either you go out and celebrate it, and you're the reason why there's an hour and a half wait at Longhorn Steakhouse, or you're one of those people bragging on social media that you're like, well, me and my wife don't celebrate Valentine's Day. We just pretend it's a normal day. And it's like, okay, cool. Do you want a cookie for that too? I mean, what's going on here? But the dumbest holiday has to be St. Patrick's Day. The only thing you do on that day is just drink. And if you do drink, well, that's fun. But if you're like me and you don't, you're almost more excited for McDonald's to release their St. Patrick's Day shake, the Shamrock Shake. And there's also the Oreo Shamrock McFlurry. And it's already back. I mean, it's February 16th. The Shamrock Shake is back. That's more exciting than the McRib. Am I going to get a whole bunch of Shamrock Shakes? I don't really think so. I think I might just have one. Again, it's the dumbest holiday where we have to tell people, hey, don't drink and drive because people are so stupid sometimes and will do so. It's like, do not drink and drive. That's the one rule. Stay home and drink, or stay where you are and drink and get a ride somewhere. Call up your friend, get an Uber, that type of thing. Don't be that person that drinks and then goes, oh, I can make it home. Then you get into a car accident. You hurt yourself. You maybe, end your life or you end someone else's life or injure them, and then you're in a whole lot of trouble. A DUI is no joke, especially around St. Patrick's Day when there's tons of people out there partying it up. Make sure to stay safe, all right? We're still like a month or so out of St. Patrick's Day. I just saw the news about the Shamrock Shake, and I would have to say St. Patrick's Day is definitely one of the dumbest holidays out there. Nobody tells you growing up, especially in high school, that when you start your career as an adult in whatever you do, make sure to find a job that gives you PTO, paid time off. It is so dire. It's very rare to find, but it is 100% essential, especially when you want to go to a concert like the Bad Omens show this Sunday with Beartooth and President at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. I was chatting with my girlfriend about this because she is one of the many people that have today off out of all days, President's Day, so she gets a 3-day weekend. Oh, good for you, right? I was jokingly asking her, hey, could you switch this Monday for next Monday off so she can come to Salt Lake City with me and not have to pester her manager, basically saying, hey, I know I just started here and I need to, what's it called? I need to have this Monday off. Is there any way that I could get it off? And then they always try to make you feel guilty for trying to take a day off. It's like, I've had prior obligations. I'm not going to be here. I've always done that growing up, like when it comes to just working those minimum wage like jobs like In-N-Out, for example. I've always said, hey, I'm not going to be here for these days. It's not a request. I'm just telling you type of thing. You got to walk in there with sort of that mentality. I just really wanted her to come to the Bad Omens, Beartooth, and President show with me because I hate to do concerts alone. I especially don't want to do this whole thing where I have to drive down to Salt Lake City for 3 hours, go see the concert, and then about halfway or 3/4 of the way through Bad Omens' set, we then have to leave early, come back to East Idaho around like 1 a.m, maybe even 2, and then she goes to bed, wakes up at like 7, and then has to go to work. It just doesn't seem fair, and I wouldn't want to do that to either of us. But luckily enough, I think she was able to get the day off. I just hate the fact that PTO doesn't exist at some jobs. But when you also, like, if you start a new job, you don't get it till you're 90 days in, and then you start accumulating it, which is just so stupid, right? Anyway, enough of my complaining. Let's just do some Youngblood and the Smashing Pumpkins Zombie on Peach's Pit Party. Thrice on Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101. Not that long ago, I had on the amazing YouTuber, streamer, reactor by the name of Metal Burb on the show. I think it was late last year. It was because I was chatting with him about my top 10 albums of 2025. We had this full in-depth conversation. It's on our YouTube at KBear 101 RMG if you want to check that out. I do follow Metal Burb's Metal Roundup podcast, and him and the two guys on the show, they shared this clip, a highlight of the latest episode of the Metal Roundup, and they brought up a very valid point. Luckily, I have the audio for it right here that I wanted to play for you, and then we'll talk about it afterward.
One of the most annoying people at concerts, it's not even like the people at mosh pits, which like there's nothing wrong with people at mosh pits. It's more the people that just like squeeze in and like shove you out of the way to get like closer to the front.
There are some people though, you're like, sorry, do you mind if I get by? And they'll be like, you're not going by? I was here first. You're like, okay, but guess what? You can just sidle somewhere else and you'll find a different person who's like, yeah, come on in. Like, yeah, politeness will get you a long way.
I might end up having some of the hottest takes here, but you know who's the most guilty of that? Small women are the worst for that. Not being so rude about pushing past. The amount of times I've been at gigs, it's very rarely like a big that'll do that. It'll be some woman half my size that will just launch me out of the way. But if you're moving someone out of the way, I've already landed the hottest take here, haven't I? I can see my brother's face. Yeah.
No, I'm laughing because like,
but the people
you're weirdly, no, your dude gets weirdly very accurate. Like the amount of times I get shoved is actually small women.
Small women.
You know who are the biggest complainers when it comes to me standing in front of them? Small woman. If it's a small dude, they'll jokingly say, "Ah, man," and then they'll go around. Every single time I'm at a concert, like Scene Queen, for example, when I went and saw Scene Queen with Deadlands and who else was on that bill? Some band called Girly or something like that. I saw them at some small venue in Salt Lake City. But I remember anywhere that I went, because the Scene Queen crowd is mostly women, And then there's me, big old me Peaches in the back there watching. I was mostly there for Deadlands. Deadlands, an awesome band. Love Casey, love CJ, love those people. Everywhere I went in that small little room, there was always that one loudmouth girl going, "Why does the tall guy have to stand in front of me?" And they wouldn't move. And then even at Lorna Shore, when I saw them back in 2022 at the complex with Of Sulfur and a bunch of other bands on that bill, the one person that was pushing everybody out of the way was some drunken small woman. It's always them. It's always the problem. They're never nice about it. They'll either try using their looks to kind of be like, "Hey, can I cut in front of you?" And there's always some dude like, "Oh yeah, sure." I personally don't mind it if people cut in front of me, no matter who it is, just because I feel bad. I do feel honestly bad. Am I going to stand to the back at every show that I go to? Absolutely not. It's not my fault your parents were, beyond short and they have a short kid and you turn out to be that short kid and you can't see over somebody who's like, taller than 6'1". I apologize. I'm actually sorry, not sorry, because I will always go to the front and I don't care if you stand right behind me and get blocked. I just don't. All right. I pay the same amount of money that you did. I want to go see a show. Obviously, I want to be as close to the stage as possible. Just go around me. All right, that's about it. I just found that I'd listened to that clip and was like, I need to bring this up on my show as well. Anyway, speaking of small women, Evanescence right now with Fight Like a Girl. What a great song to play after that break. K-Bear 101. So how long ago was this? February 7th. All right, I'm not doing the math. I don't know. 9 days ago? Yeah, 9 days ago. Brad Arnold was announced dead. Passed away from stage 4 kidney cancer. Very, very unfortunate. I talked about that the following show, or I think that happened on a Saturday. I talked about it on Monday, that I was just hit extra hard by his passing. And so it wasn't that long ago that I saw Three Doors Down open up for Creed at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater, and I had a little clip of them performing Kryptonite on my phone still. I was one of those people that recorded a part of the concert and actually used it afterwards. And I'm glad I did, because I posted it. I have the caption here, going through my concert videos and came across this moment of Three Doors Down performing Kryptonite. Grateful I got to see it. I did not expect this video to blow up the way it did on both my profile and the K-Bear 101 Facebook profile. It has more views on the K-Bear account, but I'm shocked at how many people followed me on my personal account because of me posting this video. It's past 50,000 views, 4,000 likes, reactions, 50 comments. It's made me like $10. And so instead of me taking advantage of some unfortunate passing of a great artist, I decided, you know what, I'm going to donate that $10 to a cancer research foundation or something like that, just because it feels right. And it feels like something that Brad Arnold would have wanted. I'll put it in his name and everything. $10, really, it's nothing, I know. But at the same time, to make that off of one Facebook post of me posting a video, just a simple video of the band performing, and that's it. $10? That's quite wild. So I use ChatGPT quite frequently to help me out with tedious tasks like, organizing my notes for meetings, coming up with podcast descriptions, that type of thing. I'm not one of those people that's so infatuated by AI, and I'm so lonely that I need to create this AI significant other. And I've talked about this a few times on the show. There are people out there who are dating an AI fake boyfriend, girlfriend, whichever one it may be. But OpenAI, the creators behind ChatGPT, they just retired GPT 4.0. And a lot of people were so beyond sad about this. I was reading this post from r/out of the loop. What's going on with the outrage over older models of ChatGPT being just deleted, right? There were these people freaking out that their boyfriends, their girlfriends were just going to be deleted and forgotten about. And they were so severely sad about it. It's quite scary how the future's looking, that there are people out there depending on AI for companionship. I mean, really, there are people who openly talk about their problems with AI. They type out everything. I mean, it's a great way to sort of write your thoughts down, but at the same time, like, it's not your therapist. It's not a licensed therapist. Go see a real person for that type of thing, right? If you're asking it for solutions to your problems. I mean, we've seen even weirder stories popping up about people dying because they go to Chat GPT for medical advice, and it's just awful, man. But the tweets that I saw over the weekend of these girls crying, saying their perfect boyfriend was getting deleted, I felt very sad, but then I also somewhat laughed at, but then I was also feeling guilty for sort of laughing at them, you know. Anyway, it's Peach's Pit Party now with some Black Label Society, Name and Blood on K-Bear 101. And I have today's What the Headline. You ever hear about someone stealing something and just think, why that? You know, very specific. There's a Department of Transportation employee in New York who's now facing charges after allegedly stealing 20,000 pounds of asphalt millings. Not money, not tools, like literal road scraps. And police say she had it loaded into a dump truck and delivered to a private address back in October. That's 10 tons of road material. That's not something you sneak out in your trunk. That requires planning. And somehow all of that is only valued at about $250, which makes it even crazier. You risk your job, criminal charges, your entire career over something that costs less than like a used PS5, maybe. She's now been charged with larceny, official misconduct after turning herself in. Did she pull up in the dump truck and say, hey, I was the one who stole this stuff? Were they even looking for it? Maybe, I don't know. It just proves no matter where you work, there's always someone thinking, yeah, I can probably get away with stealing part of the road. And you know what's funny is that I'm sure she's the reason why we have these weird scenarios and math problems, like somebody buys 52 watermelons at the grocery store. Anyway, that is today's What the Headline right here on K-Bear 101. I'm still a little upset that for Victor's birthday, we couldn't get him the gift we wanted to get him. Me and Maddie from down the hall, we teamed up to try to get a cameo from the one, the only Roger Clark, a.k.a. Arthur Morgan of Red Dead Redemption 2. If you know Victor, the morning show host, you know exactly how he feels about Red Dead Redemption 2. You know he's played a few thousand hours of it. Even Becca, his wife, was in here this morning talking about it, about how he will always be on that game, picking flowers, doing something. It's an amazing, amazing video game. And this one story that I'm reading here, it's just heartbreaking. This Red Dead Redemption 2 fan accidentally deleted her fiance's save. Deleted the entire thing. I don't know how you accidentally delete your fiance's save, because my girlfriend could turn my Xbox on. She could also go to my computer. I don't think she would know how to delete pretty much anything gaming-wise off of there. I don't know how you accidentally delete something like, oops, I accidentally deleted it. Like, how did this happen? I don't know. Let's just read it here. Someone managed to delete their fiance's Red Dead Redemption 2 save file, but managed to figure out how to apologize in the best way possible. Doesn't this even say how they did it? But they tried making up for it by having Roger Clark do a cameo for that person's significant other, which I was like, okay, well, that's cool. It's a video from the main character that still doesn't save the game. Oh, wait, it says right here for the instructions. I just deleted my fiance's save game in Red Dead Redemption 2 by accident. She was having so much fun and made every ethical decision, had about 2/3 completed. Can you say some words of support for this devastating loss and let her know I am sorry? Oh, he also tweeted about it too. All right. Well, the fact that we tried getting a cameo from Roger Clark and he wouldn't do it because it involved like promoting a business. So yeah, there was that. I'm still a little sad we couldn't get him that cameo. I so badly wanted Roger Clark to say, "This is Arthur Morgan. You're listening to the Victor Wilt Show," you know, in that amazing Arthur Morgan voice. I need to find a way to get in contact with him so Victor can interview him finally after all of this time. Victor talked about this morning, this whole thing about Obama talking about aliens. He was on a podcast and basically got asked the question everyone always asks the former presidents. You know, aliens are aliens real? What's at Area 51? All that stuff. And he said aliens are real, but not in the way people immediately think. What he meant was more like, statistically speaking, the universe is so massive that it would be almost impossible for Earth to be the only place with life. He wasn't saying he met one. He wasn't saying there's one locked in a bunker somewhere. He even joked that if there were aliens being hidden at Area 51, it would be such a huge secret that even he probably wouldn't have been told, which is quite crazy. And that's the funniest part to me, because people always assume the president knows everything. Meanwhile, he's basically saying, yeah, there's still plenty of stuff nobody knows. But of course, the internet ran with the one quote. Everyone sees Obama says aliens are real, and suddenly people think disclosure just happened. In reality, he's just saying what most scientists already believe. The universe is too big for us to be the only thing out there. The real question isn't whether life exists somewhere. It's whether it's ever been here. And that part, still no proof, right? That's what I would love to talk more about this, but the show is almost over, so let's just play some more music. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, aka Brenden Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.